This morning, we're tracking very hot temperatures. I'll tell you just how hot they could get coming up.
And bond is set for one of the people accused of trying to poison women. We take a look at the criminal complaint and what led to their arrests. Well, good morning and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Montesano. You are watching Weekend Mornings. I'm not ready for this heat. I don't know about you.
You know what? We can bring the heat as long as we're prepared for it, which we will be getting you prepared today.
And we're going to start with some morning motivation. This quote is by Mr. Rogers. The quote goes, "There are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. Second way is to be kind. Third way is to be kind." And
that's the way. Kindness is key.
Being kind to everyone will make the world a better place. But
and like you said earlier, the kindness isn't gonna.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's not gonna help the temperatures.
It's not gonna help the temperatures today, as we do have heat advisories in effect for our entire area. Some places are actually under an excessive heat warning, as we are going to see easily the hottest temperatures of the year so far. Most of the region will get easily into the 90s, and the heat index values will be even higher. Now, current temperatures already in the upper 70s to lower 80s, and you can see we are seeing some very strong winds right now as well. Current wind speeds up around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Gusts are up to 30 miles per hour at this time. That's just going to continue to get worse. And looking at the temperature forecast, highs will be in the upper middle to lower 90s, with plenty of sunshine. So the sun is just going to make it feel hotter. And looking at the forecast throughout the day, we're going to be in the 80s very quickly. We're going to continue to see strong winds throughout the day, but the winds will really be a big fueling factor into the warm temperatures that we're going to see throughout the weekend. La Crosse, you folks will have a very similar forecast. And as far as Sunday goes, well, it may be even hotter, as we'll see highs once again in the middle to lower 90s. Plenty of sunshine. There's almost no chance of rain throughout the weekend. We will see rain once we get to Monday, but Monday is going to continue to be hot. So we have an alert day in the forecast today, tomorrow, and Monday. Heat index values will be near 100, if not slightly above 100. So definitely stay safe, and I'll continue talking more about the heat. In fact, we both will over the next hour.
Absolutely. There are just so many events in this area that are happening this weekend. Fitchburg Family Frolic, more Juneteenth celebrations, multiple bike rides. So if you are getting out today, you're going to make sure you want to bring some water to help combat the temperatures.
And also, I was just in Milwaukee. Summerfest started this weekend.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just not an ideal time for it to be super hot. But we eventually, we see these eventually. It's right now it's happening a little bit earlier than normal.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jacob. And for our viewers, you can stay on top of these extreme heat conditions and our alert days by downloading the free First Warn weather app. And you can find that wherever it is you get your apps. But with the temperature soaring and heat advisories in effect, it's more important now than ever to take care of yourself and your loved ones, because extreme heat isn't just uncomfortable, it can be dangerous. So if you need a place to cool off, Madison, Verona, Fitchburg, and several other libraries will be open, as they typically are for extreme heat conditions, as well as West Town Mall and Loosier Community Center. And now senior centers in this area that are usually open during the week as extreme heat centers, they are closed today. But if you're north of Madison, you can also visit public libraries for that relief from the heat, and other cooling centers include the Sauk County West Square Building, Reedsburg City Hall, Spring Green Community Center, and Arena Fire Station. Now to our top stories. The couple that's charged in a plot to poison women in Dane and Rock County made their second appearance in court. In Rock County, Andrea Whitaker and Paul Van Dyne are charged with 3 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide, aggravated battery, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and stalking resulting in bodily harm. In Dane County, Van Dyne is charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide and felony stalking. Whitaker is charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree homicide as party to a crime and harboring and aiding a felon. Now, our Ellie La Liberté breaks down the latest details from the criminal complaint involving the people accused of trying to poison them.
A Dane County judge set Paul Van Dyne's bail at $10 million and Andrea Whitaker's at $4 million. And while determining that bail, a victim of this poisoning plot spoke to the court saying she's still scared for her life. Now, we've changed her voice to protect her privacy.
Over a year ago, I went on just 2 dates with this man, and now my entire life has been turned upside down.
That Dane County woman describing the actions of someone she says she barely knew.
Paul is a threat. He is dangerous.
According to court records, Van Dyne and Whitaker allegedly tried to kill the Dane County victim twice in May using cyanide.
I am scared for myself. I'm scared for my 2 children. I cannot sleep soundly. I cannot focus at work or be fully present at home because I'm constantly bracing for what Paul and Andrea might do next.
She says in April, Whitaker broke into her garage.
It's become horrifyingly clear. Andrea's intentions and actions, like Paul's, were to kill me.
Another woman who had a brief relationship with Van Dyne was hospitalized for poisoning in Rock County. The complaint claims that Whitaker and Van Dyne tried to kill that victim 3 different times using various chemicals. At Whitaker's first hearing on Wednesday, prosecutors called her, quote, the brains of the operation, while Van Dyne would carry it out. From Whitaker's phone, detectives pulled these messages between the two, discussing lethal doses of chemicals, how to obtain them, and Van Dyne saying, quote, I'll have all I need to get rid of Satan.
The truth is, I barely knew him. And yet, he and his accomplice decided that I should die. I deserve to feel safe. The community deserves to live free of fear.
According to the criminal complaint, on Whitaker's phone, there are also 125 internet searches for various chemicals and how they could kill people.
Thank you, Ellie. While in jail, Van Dyne allegedly called Whitaker and asked her to remove items from his home. Police say Whitaker was arrested while attempting to do so. In national news this morning, both Israel and Iran continue to exchange missile strikes. Overnight missiles were intercepted over Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Diplomatic efforts are ongoing, led by the European leaders, attempting a last shot at convincing Iran to limit its nuclear program. If Iran is ready to consider diplomacy, what's unclear is if that means embracing President Trump's offer for direct talks. Iran called those off after U.S. ally Israel started bombing. Now, President Trump expresses concerns about Iran's potential nuclear possibilities.
I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen.
Any deal could only be signed off on by Iran's supreme leader. Iran's top diplomat says he's open to further talk, but insists, quote, Iran is ready to consider diplomacy if aggression ceases and the aggressor is held accountable for its committed crimes. Now to Wall Street, closing this week Friday with a 35-point climb for the Dow. The Nasdaq loses 99 and the S&P 500 tumbles 13. Now to more news around the state. Black River Falls officially has a new fire chief. The city welcomes Mark Nordahl taking over the department. The Rural Fire Board and Common Council both approved. Nordahl served as second assistant chief and 20 years in the department under his belt. The city administrator says Nordahl's experience and deep roots in the community will serve residents well. And Senator Bernie Sanders is endorsing Democrat Rebecca Cook in the race for Wisconsin's 3rd District. Sanders said Cook will, quote, stand up for working families and take on the greed of powerful special interests. Cook's run is a 2024 rematch race with Representative Derek Van Orden. Cook also unsuccessfully ran in 2022. Make Music Madison is returning today with more than 150 venues hosting free live performances across the city. From front porches to parks, it's a day to celebrate community and creativity. You can sing, dance, join an impromptu choir, or just soak in the music. It's all a part of the worldwide Make Music Day. You can head to makemusicmadison.org to plan your perfect day of sound and summer. It's a hot day to be outside, but It's always a good day for some tunes.
Yeah, I already have plans today, but even if I didn't, I'm not sure if I could brave the heat. My plans are indoors, I should point out. But for the most part, it's just, I hate these temperatures. I don't know how you feel about them, but I know some people do enjoy them.
I like the warmth, but I don't want people to, heat exhaustion is very serious. So maybe take a sip of water, go to the pool.
Take breaks too.
Take your breaks, go to those cooling centers, definitely. The time now is 8:08, still ahead on weekend mornings. The Dodge County man charged with choking a dog to death. What led to the deadly outcome?
But first, I'll be back with a full look at your first warn forecast. This is Weekend Mornings. Stick around.
It's the weekend of Juneteenth, and celebrations are continuing as the nation continues to celebrate the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth. The city of Madison is getting ready to celebrate this morning. This year's theme, Together We Still Rise, reflects collective resilience and continued growth. The historical Juneteenth Freedom Parade starts at the Labor Temple in Madison at 10:45. The route leads to Madison's 36th annual celebration at Penn Park starting at noon. Now, don't forget, if you are heading downtown Saturday, starting at 10:30 a.m., multiple streets will be closed for the Juneteenth celebration today. Now, that parade closes South Park Street from West Badger Road to West Wingra Drive. They reopen at noon. Streets around Penn Park will remain closed until 7:30 p.m. and some Metro bus routes will also be affected. So you can visit the City of Madison's website for those details. Are you thinking about heading out today?
Well,
You said it's too hot.
It's too hot, but like I said, if I didn't have some prearranged plans, I don't know if I could handle this heat.
All right. I'm definitely
not a fan of the temperatures.
I'm definitely trying to go to the parade at least. Or if I can't make it to the parade, then
I guess it is a
celebration.
It is a little earlier in the day, and the heat advisory technically doesn't start until noon, and that's actually when it ends, if I believe.
Yeah, that's when the parade ends. So
I guess it won't be too bad during that period, but we still have an alert day in the forecast. Really, throughout the entire day, we're going to kind of have it in the forecast. It's going to continue for Sunday and Monday as well. We're going to have heat index values near 100, if not a little bit above that level for the afternoon hours. So taking a look at the heat advisories, it's for our entire area. Again, it starts at noon today, but it will last all the way through 7 p.m. on Monday. And there are a few outside areas that have an excessive heat warning in effect. Current heat index values already in the lower 80s. As I mentioned, they're going to rise to the triple digits, possibly near 105 for some locations, and everyone going to expect it to be at least near 100. Now, this is going to be a very similar situation for Sunday as well. Heat index values near 100, and Monday we're going to have a repeat of that forecast. If you're further northwest for Monday, though, it may not be quite as bad, as we'll see a cold front move through, and it will move through a little bit earlier for you folks, but still going to be very, very hot across our entire area. So definitely take the precautions and take breaks, because looking at the effects of the feels like temperatures, when the heat index values get to around 105, you can see heat exhaustion as likely and heat stroke possible, especially if you are having extended time outside. But we're definitely going to be in this level, and that's where we could see heat-related illnesses possible. So it's important to take breaks, drink plenty of water. Those are the two most important things to do when you're outside in the heat. Now, looking at the actual temperatures, we could be breaking records. Now, looking at the warmest low temperature record, that is a little bit more likely to be broken. The record for the warmest low temperature for tomorrow is 74, and our forecast is 78. But even the high temperature could be broken. The record is 96, forecast 94, 95 roughly. So it is going to be pretty close to that. We normally see these temperatures a few times during the year, but that mostly happens in July, so this is a little bit early for that. Now, even after we start to see some temperatures improve a little bit, mostly on Tuesday, it is going to remain very humid. So the dew points are still going to be in the upper 60s to lower 70s, and we're going to have a good chance of rain. So although temperatures will be cooler, the muggy meter shows that it's still going to be very uncomfortable at times. So it's going to certainly continue to feel like summer as we go throughout the next 10 days. And we have a very good chance of rain for the middle of next week. Then we'll see those temperatures kind of warm back up, maybe get a little bit drier towards the weekend. But for Madison, we're going to see continuous temperatures in the 80s at best. Like I mentioned, the next couple of days will obviously be in the 90s, and we're going to see plenty of rainfall next week as well. So it's certainly, summer's here, and it's certainly going to feel like it this weekend, but even when those temperatures cool down, it will feel like it with that high humidity.
So we've got triple digits coming up, we've got high heat, and then it's going to be muggy. I can't do the heat and the rain together. That's when I have my natural hair, it goes very frizzy.
We're going to be seeing, like I said, we're going to be seeing a lot of summer-like conditions going forward. Not really a day in sight where we're not going to see either very hot temperatures or a chance of rainfall, but you know, that's not too uncommon, unfortunately.
A pool, a pool, a pool.
Right.
Jacob, thank you. While sparklers, bottle rockets, and other fireworks are summer staples, they also injure hundreds every year. Safety reports show that in 2023, 9,700 people were in the emergency room for firework injuries. 66% of those happened in the weeks before and after the 4th of July, with the most common injuries to hands and fingers.
But these little fireworks have enough power to completely amputate fingers, multiple fingers, even part of the hand. I've even seen an arm blown off in an 8-year-old. So this is really, really serious stuff.
SSM health doctors say if you choose to use fireworks, avoid alcohol, use protective eyewear, never allow kids to handle them, and never relight a dud firework. And today you can visit the Wisconsin Veterans Museum after hours to hear veteran stories in their A Slice of History event. Now, this is all part of Civic Season, a nationwide effort to promote museums as civic hubs for younger generations. On top of the stories, there's free pizza and live performances from local musicians inspired by the stories of Wisconsin World War I vets. The event runs from 5 to 7 p.m. Additional exhibits will also be open during the event, and you can visit the museum's website for more information. Time now is 8:17. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Still ahead, some weekend events to look forward to and another check on our weather. Plus, as always, Will Loper has the 3 things you need to watch. Stick with us. We'll be back in a bit. Back a big bike ride with a big purpose. It's happening this morning. The 4th annual Capital to Capital bike ride kicks off in about an hour and a half. That's at 10 a.m. at Capital Brewery in Middleton. Now, riders will take on a 25 or 50-mile route, all to raise awareness and funds for survivors of domestic violence. It's organized by the Platteville Family Resource Center. The ride ends at Capital Brewery with live music, food, a raffle, and more. Participants can also donate used bikes to the Bikes for Kids program at check-in. You can sign up online now or register on site starting in just 10 minutes. More details at capitaltocapitalbikeride.com. Also happening today is the Family Frolic taking place at McKee Farms Park in Fitchburg. It's a free public event from 11 to 2, hosted by United Cerebral Palsy and Greater Dane County. Organizers say it's a great way to celebrate safe, inclusive spaces in support of individuals with disabilities. There'll be food, a resource fair, bounce houses, balloon art, quiet crafts, and much more. Now let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. We're looking for that severe weather update. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Michelle, Renee. That was obviously the big story this weekend is the temperatures, but I do have to touch on the fact that we could see some severe weather on Monday, kind of to end the extreme heat. Slight risk for much of the area as we look at southeastern Wisconsin, just a marginal risk, but everyone is expected to see some rain at this time. Now, through early Monday, this weekend is going to be very dry, and most of Monday will actually be dry, but later in the afternoon and evening, we'll start to see some of these showers and thunderstorms move into our area, and they have a very good chance to be severe. Now, the best chance for those storms in southern Wisconsin will be during the evening and early overnight hours, and these storms could definitely produce some strong winds and maybe even some minor hail. Now, beyond just that, we are going to see several chances of rain next week, and from Tuesday onward, it's a bit unclear which days have the best chance of severe weather, but I'm going to guess we're going to see at least some chance of it, considering the temperatures will be warm. And as you can see, almost every day from late Monday through next weekend, we'll see a chance of rainfall. So this weekend, hot and dry. Next week, still warm, not as hot, but we're going to see a lot of chances of rainfall.
All right, Jacob, thanks so much. We'll check back in shortly. To the theaters now, our Will Loper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
In the overworld,
Whoa.
anything you can dream about, you can create.
You or your children can now chicken jockey to your heart's content at home with a Minecraft movie, newly streaming on HBO Max.
If we want to save this world, creativity is key to survival.
Join Jason Momoa, Danielle Brooks, and Jack Black on an adventure through the blocky world of Minecraft.
Chicken jockey.
I'm driving up here and I see the name Buckley everywhere.
Who would choose to be a part of this family?
We have money and standing.
That sentence should be in the past tense.
Enjoy a new crime drama with The Waterfront, newly streaming on Netflix.
We're struggling. We're going to lose the restaurant and the harbor.
We have to come up with $2 million in less than 3 months.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take control of things.
Inspired by true events, the series tells the story of the Buckley family and their attempts to keep their fishing empire afloat.
It's hard to find your way back.
Improv is all about being in the moment.
I want proper work. I'm an actor, I can be anything.
And infiltrate London's gangs with Deep Cover, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
It's a program using improv comics to take down criminals.
200 each. You in?
Bryce Dallas Howard stars as Kat, an improv teacher who goes undercover with two of her students impersonating criminals.
This is just another round of improv. When in doubt, drop it. Yes, and.
Anything else? Yes. And?
Those are the three things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
I love that he does this because I'm a big streaming girl. I like to sit on my couch and watch my movies in the comfort of my home with my cat next to me or on my lap.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. I'm not really a big theater buff.
I still enjoy going to the theaters. I feel like I haven't gotten there that much though. I usually go, I feel like lately about like maybe 3-4 times a year, but like there are usually more movies that I would want to go see. I just never find myself going. But I did go to the theaters to see the Minecraft movie. Very silly, but very entertaining for sure.
How was the audience? I've heard that there's been some
quiet.
loud audiences.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty quiet, but I've seen some of the stuff on social media. I think the craziest one was when someone brought a live chicken into the theater. Yeah.
What?
They brought a chicken and they like all went crazy during that chicken jockey scene.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't make any sense, but that's the fun in it, I think.
If you can't bring pets into stores, how can you bring a chicken into a theater?
I think he hid it.
Oh,
So,
that makes sense. Like
there's
what
not-
people
I mean,
do with the popcorn and the snacks.
There's not really security at movie theaters.
Right,
So-
right. All
But
right.
yeah, it was kind of wild though.
That is wild. Well, there we go. Yeah. Before the break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers. Don't go anywhere. There's still a half hour of news to go. And next, we're running through the day's top headlines. Stick with us. This is Weekend Mornings.
This weekend, we're going to be seeing dangerously hot temperatures. I'll talk about just how hot coming up.
And we'll have tips on how you can stay safe from the extreme heat. Plus, an update on the deadly shooting at a Janesville apartment complex. And later, the Dodge County Chestertown board chairman charged with choking a dog to death. What led to the deadly outcome? Well, hello. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Madison. Today is Saturday, June 21st, and you're watching Weekend Mornings.
It's a morning.
It is the morning, but honestly, the temperatures outside right now are putting me in a good mood, but the temperatures later today are certainly not.
You just have to go home after the shift and then close the door and you're not going out anymore.
Right.
That's it. AC's on.
It is like very mild right now, definitely humid, but temperatures still, not too bad yet, but they're gonna get there, trust me.
All right, well, I'll toss it to you. Go ahead and give us that forecast.
Yeah, we have heat advisories in effect for our entire area. This will start at noon today, but it's gonna last all the way through 7 p.m. on Monday. So all of Sunday, most of Monday will be in this heat advisory. A few excessive heat warnings for surrounding areas. Now, as we take a look at the current temperatures, right now we are near 80 for a lot of the area, and the humidity values are rather high, so the heat index value is already starting to creep up into the middle 80s. Now, we also are going to see some pretty strong winds throughout the day, and right now we're seeing those strong winds, and the winds are going to be a big driving factor in the warm temperatures, bringing in a lot of that warm air from the south. Now, as we take a look outside, plenty of sunshine, and that's going to be the case throughout the entire weekend, which is another reason why we're going to see these warm temperatures. We're going to see a lot of that sunshine, and looking at the highs for today, middle and lower 90s, partly to mostly sunny skies. We are going to be windy throughout the day, and as we look at the forecast for tonight, we'll see clear skies, but very mild lows, upper 70s, maybe even lower 80s for some areas, if you can believe it, as the low temperature. Now, for Sunday, it's going to be just as hot, middle to lower 90s, plenty of sunshine, and I'll talk more in detail about just how high the heat index will be coming up later, and also show you some safety tips to deal with this heat.
Absolutely, and we are going to need those tips because There are plenty of events that are happening, and people need to be prepared for the heat. Thank you, Jacob. We will be checking in very shortly. You can stay on top of the alert day conditions by downloading the free First Warn weather app. Find that wherever you get your apps. And we're continuing to cover that extreme heat that's taking over Wisconsin this weekend. Dane County did issue a heat advisory for this afternoon until Monday night. Now, this is happening during a busy Saturday with several outdoor events. And our Tanisha Shaw is reporting on how you can stay safe outside this weekend.
The Madison Farmers Market, the Juneteenth celebration, and the Naked Bike Ride are returning to the capital city this Saturday during what's expected to be the hottest weekend of the year so far. It's important to stay safe and not overheat while outside at these events. Many of them involve a lot of walking in extreme heat.
You start feeling like you're getting too warm, get someplace cool. And I mean indoors, in the shade, someplace of where you can cool down.
Hundreds of bikers will raise awareness for oil use and body positivity with the Naked Bike Ride.
If you're considering doing the ride and you are worried you might not do so well in the heat, come next year. Do not risk it. It's a fun event to question our dependence on oil and to celebrate body positivity, but we do this every year.
Holly McEntee helps organize the bike ride and says she's urging bike riders to bring water and to stop riding if they're feeling exhausted.
Sunscreen, really, really important. Watch out for each other. You know, if you see somebody struggling, we will have field medics on the ride with us.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanasia. In more local news this morning, we have an update on the deadly shooting at a Janesville apartment complex. Police are confirming that the shooting Tuesday is a murder-suicide. 3 people died at the scene. The Rock County Medical Examiner's Office identified them as 25-year-old Julia Vicker, 21-year-old Javarius Wicks, and 55-year-old Scott Roberts. Law enforcement did not identify which one was the shooter. Now, the shooting stemmed from a domestic relationship between 2 of the people involved. Officers found a 4th person unresponsive with a gunshot wound in the doorway of the apartment. They were taken to a hospital with life-threatening injuries and are still in critical condition. The chairman of the town of Chester, that's in Dodge County, is facing felony animal abuse charges after allegedly choking a dog to death with a leash. Shelby Cron brought a golden retriever she was trying to save to Richard Van Buren when he allegedly fashioned a leash into a noose and pulled the dog by the neck through her car window. Now, the dog then bit Van Buren's finger, and he allegedly lifted it up on the leash with both hands raised up in the air, hanging the animal. All the while, Cron was trying to intervene, but she says Van Buren replied, "This expletive dog bit me. It's going to die."
I wanted to save him. Why are you doing this? And the next thing I know, he takes that dog's limp body as he's still holding it in the air and throws it in the dog cage.
Van Buren's signature bond has been set at $5,000, and he's ordered to not have any domesticated dogs on his property. He's due back in court next month. California's governor has suffered a setback in his efforts to prevent President Trump from controlling National Guard troops. The ruling came after ICE agents were denied access to the Los Angeles Dodgers Stadium. The Department of Homeland Security says the incident is unrelated to any operation or enforcement. Many in the region are on edge as immigration raids continue. One in the parking lot of a Home Depot resulted in dozens of people rounded up and taken away.
They say that people are getting deported are going to be the ones that are committing crimes and all that. They just snatching everybody up. Anybody, father, mother, cousin, whatever,
Meanwhile, President Trump is hinting he may deploy the military all over the country as he continues to prioritize deportations from Democratic-run cities. And before the break, here is your weekend playlist pick from Jay. I finally got the music to work. He says he chose the song because everything is going to be all right. Check out I'll Be All Right by Passion Pit. And you can create a weekend playlist with us by sending me a song with the subject Playlist Pick. Email me or message me at Michelle Renee Quinn TV on Facebook and tune in on weekend mornings to hear your song. We'll be back after this. If you're heading to the Dane County's Farmers Market this morning, you can get in on some architectural family fun. Habitat on the Square is back. That's from noon to 9 on South Pinckney Street. It's a free family-friendly event put on by the downtown Madison Kiwanis. It's packed with the classic crafts, face painting, and games for the kids. But you'll also be able to test your child's metal with a hammer in a nail driving contest. Now, there's also the chance to meet the team from Habitat for Humanity to learn how they're helping build affordable homes in our community. So a great opportunity for you to get out there this morning. And just to make sure that you guys are staying safe in the heat, we do have meteorologist Jacob Montesano. But right before the weather, have you ever done have you ever medaled with a nail driving competition? Like,
no, I have not.
Flipping the hammers and throwing them, pounding that nail in? Yeah.
No, that sounds interesting though. I actually didn't even know it was a competition, to be honest. So yeah, I definitely have not competed in one. My brother told me about a game that they used to play in college, and I was like, we didn't play those kinds of games at my undergrad. I did more of like the safer
No
games
nails,
or whatever.
No hammers.
Yeah.
Right. All right, well, what are we expecting?
Yeah, so high temperatures will be right in the middle to lower 90s. And here's a look at what the concrete and asphalt temperatures could be in those temperatures. And I'm bringing this up because obviously, we focus a lot on keeping yourself safe, but it's also important to keep your pets safe. And the asphalt could be up to 155 degrees in these temperatures. So although they may want to go on a walk, maybe this weekend is not the best time to do so. Now, in general safety tips, this first bullet point is the most important. Stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit any strenuous outdoor activities. If you are going to be outside, try not to do anything too exhausting, and wear lightweight and light colored clothes. White shirts reflect the sun, whereas black shirts absorb it, and that could lead to heat exhaustion or heat related illness. And I already mentioned check on the pets. Also check on any elderly or anyone that you may know that doesn't have air conditioning. It is going to be a very hot weekend, and it probably won't be the last. So it is important to be aware of these safety tips now, not just for this weekend, but for the rest of the summer. Because even next week, when temperatures are going to cool down a little bit, we're still going to see highs in the 80s, and we're still going to see high humidity values. So it's still going to be relatively uncomfortable during that time.
Absolutely. Thank you for those tips. Those are certainly some important tips for our health on a day like today, Jacob.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also in today's health news, intermittent fasting is put to the test, plus the dangers of cannabis use for your heart. Michael George has some of the week's top health stories.
Cannabis use could potentially double the risk of death from cardiovascular disease. New research published in the journal Heart showed significantly increased risks for stroke and sudden reduced or blocked blood flow to the heart among cannabis users. Use of cannabis has soared over the past decade as more and more states legalize use. Do intermittent fasting diets work? An analysis published by the British Medical Journal showed the method can be just as effective as diets that cut calories when it comes to weight loss. In intermittent fasting, people avoid eating for periods ranging from 16 hours to 2 days. The study also found alternate day fasting was more effective than other types of intermittent fasting. And people who have weight loss surgery see a boost in their self-esteem within the first year of the procedure. A new study from Geisinger Medical Center had patients rate their self-esteem before and after bariatric surgery. Before the procedure, the average self-esteem was 33 out of 100, and afterwards it jumped to 77 out of 100. Stigma related to weight is linked to depression, anxiety, and poor eating habits. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
And before we head to break, we've got a birthday to celebrate. Today, James turns 3. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, James, from your weekend morning crew. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back. The annual Taste of Stoughton is today at Nordic Ridge Park.
This is your opportunity to bring your blankets, chairs, and kids to enjoy a day of local food, drink, and music, all while supporting the community.
That's right. The Taste of Stoughton starts this morning from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. General admission is free, and all kids' activities are free as well.
And we're going to see some warm temperatures with that. We have alert days in the forecast for today, tomorrow, and Monday. Heat index values will be near 100, if not a little bit above it, during the afternoon hours all 3 days. Now, looking at the heat index values now, in the middle to lower 80s for the most part, they're going to rise to that near 100-degree level, possibly near 105 for some locations. And Sunday will kind of be a rinse and repeat of today's forecast, as heat index values once again near, if not slightly above 100. Now for Monday, Madison and surrounding areas will see very similar conditions, but looking off to the northwest, we'll see a cold front move through. Still going to be very warm on the back end of it, but not quite as warm as what we are going to see in southern Wisconsin or what we are going to see today or tomorrow. So going to continue to see those very hot temperatures for the next 3 days, and looking at the actual temperatures, we could be flirting with records, especially in terms of the record for the warmest low temperature on that given date. Checking out tomorrow, our forecast is 78 for a low, and the record is 74. So we're certainly going to be seeing very unseasonably hot temperatures. You know, we typically see temperatures that what we're going to see this weekend about once or twice a year, and that usually occur in July, not necessarily in June. So very hot temperatures. The record high for Sunday may also be broken as well. Now, on top of that, we do have a chance of some severe weather on Monday. Today and tomorrow, almost certainly going to be dry. But let's take a look at Monday's forecast. We are going to see some showers and thunderstorms begin moving into the area later in the afternoon Monday. And then we are going to see more showers and storms move in during the evening and early overnight. And some of these storms could produce some strong winds and some minor hail as well. Still a bit unclear if we have a tornado risk with this, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do see one, as the conditions do look very favorable. So this is going to continue through the overnight hours, but even after it clears out, we are still going to see several rain chances. And looking at the 7-day rain chance, almost every single day next week from Monday night and through the end of the week, we could be seeing some rain, and we could also be seeing quite a bit of it. So although temperatures will be cooler, we're going to see plenty of rainfall, and the humidity values will also be pretty high. So that's going to lead to still some uncomfortable conditions. Now, in some cases, like further northwest in La Crosse, you folks will see highs in the 70s. So when it's not raining, although it may rain all day, but when it's not raining, it shouldn't be too bad. But here in Madison, we are going to be seeing highs in the 80s with that high humidity, so it's still going to be uncomfortable. And as I mentioned, there's a rain chance right now pretty much every day starting later in the day on Monday. So not really a lot of ideal days to spend, you know, to enjoy the weather outside, because this weekend's going to be very hot, and next week we're going to see a lot of rain. So very summer-like conditions with the rainfall and the heat, and not a lot of pleasant days going forward. Now here's Zach with sports.
In his first career big league start with the Brewers, all Jacob Misiorowski did was pitch 5 innings of no-hit baseball and throw 14 pitches over 100 miles per hour. Well, the Miz was at it again. Second career start for Misiorowski as the Brewers were visiting the Twins, and he was throwing that nasty stuff, making the Twins fall down to end the inning. The Miz started the game with 6 perfect innings to set a franchise record with 11 no-hit innings to start a major league career. Now, he did give up a 2-run homer in the 7th, but it really wouldn't matter. There was plenty of run support to go around. Jackson Chourio bloops one into right to allow Sal Frelick to score all the way from first. Brewers get the win. 17-6 is your final. Remember that whole thing a couple months ago between the Badgers, Xavier Lucas, and the Hurricanes? Well, it's not exactly over yet. Wisconsin and VC Connect LLC are suing the University of Miami, saying the Hurricanes tampered with the NIL contracts they had with Lucas. Now, the suit claims that Miami persuaded the cornerback to break his agreements and then transfer, which violates NCAA anti-tampering rules. Let's kick it. Girls state soccer. Edgewood taking on Kiel in the Division III semifinals. This one was scoreless after 80 minutes, and that's when Sonoma Beaver broke free. The Crusaders' leading goal scorer buries one in off the corner kick to give Edgewood a 1-0 lead in overtime, and she'd add another later as the Crusaders march on to the finals with a 2-0 win. And up in Division II, Sauk Prairie's season comes to an end in the semis at the hands of Brookfield Central. 3-0 was the final. That's it for Morning Sports. Have a great day.
Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, this weekend's events and a final look at your forecast. We'll be right back. There's just so much to do in the area this weekend.
And unfortunately, it's going to be a little hot for all of it. But Family Frolic takes place at McKee Farms Park in Fitchburg. That's celebrating safe, inclusive spaces in support of individuals with disabilities.
Yes, and then Madison's Juneteenth parade and celebrations, the Platteville city-to-city bike ride, and a taste of Stoughton. So really, from farmers markets to the naked bike ride, if you're getting out today, make sure to bring some water to help you combat those temperatures. And you've got that final look of the forecast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on top of all those events, you know, not here in Madison, but in Milwaukee, it's the first weekend of Summerfest. So that's a big deal there as well.
And if you're headed out, stay hydrated.
Yeah, it is going to be hot everywhere in Wisconsin. In fact, the entire state, with the exception of Door County, has a heat advisory or an excessive heat warning. That includes us, obviously. 94 is the forecasted high both days. The heat index values, though, will be near 100. Then we're going to see plenty of storm activity starting Wednesday evening and continuing for a lot of next week. So not a very pleasant 10-day forecast.
Thank you so much for watching Weekend Mornings. Coming up next is Mission Unstoppable. Our next newscast is coming up at 6 p.m. and you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.